Well, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about inflation, but I want to talk about lunch ideas to help you out with the inflation that we're all experiencing. So the first thing I want to do is something basic and simple, and that's going to be tomato soup. Now, tomato soup is great. It's that time of the year where it's not as hot, and you can take tomato soup and you can warm it up and add sides. You can put rice in it. You can put noodles in it. You can add different vegetables to the tomato soup. Now you may want to make your tomato soup from scratch, which is great. But this is something that's quick, easy, and I think it fights inflation for lunch because it's already done. I don't have to spend a lot of time or cost of energy to make my own tomato soup from scratch. You may have jarred items that you've already done throughout the summer, and you can pull out tomato soup. Now, another thing you can have, and this is canned, is chicken noodle soup. This is a staple almost in every home. This is somewhat condensed, so you would need to add water to this. It's your basic chicken, noodle, and chicken broth. But what if I want to add something else? Or what if there really isn't much chicken in there? Well, if you had this can, and I used to call it a flavor packet because it has a lot of sodium in it, I can cook some egg noodles, more egg noodles. I can add some more chicken broth or some more water. If I have fresh vegetables that I need to use out of the garden or the refrigerator, I can chop those up. I can put it in the broth. I can cook them first. And then if I really want a hearty meal, I can add a can of this chicken. Now I know you see this chicken often, and it's white meat chicken. There's not much water in here, and it's a large can. So you can add this into the chicken noodle soup. And it's a heartier meal. You can also add muffins, biscuits, garlic bread, a side salad. You can chop up tomatoes or sliced tomatoes and put some dressing and maybe some mozzarella cheese on the top. Now, this is all if you have these things on hand. We're talking about inflation, which means the prices have gone through the roof, and these are lunch ideas. So another thing that you can add to soups, not necessarily the chicken noodle soup, is sliced potatoes. All of this came out of the prepper pantry, so it's all shelf stable. Now, what I've done in the past, I wanted to make a hearty cream chicken soup. So I had cream of chicken soup, I added a can of chicken, potatoes, mixed vegetables, other seasonings, and it was a creamy chicken soup, not just the chicken noodle soup with the broth. This works really well. You can put it in a mug, you can put croutons on it, you can put cheese on top of it. It depends on what you would like to do. You can also stretch these items. If you're making a creamy chicken soup, put a whole lot more noodles, put a whole lot more rice in there. Add, extra bread on the side, or cut vegetables from the garden. Whatever you have on hand to stretch and fight inflation for lunch is what you can do. Now, if you go to work into an office, pack your lunch. That fights inflation. Pack your own lunch and snacks and drinks, anything you might want. It's not tempting to buy anything out of a vending machine or from a delicatessen if you already have all your snacks and lunch in a lunch container. If you get hungry for a snack, you just grab, let's say, grapes or an orange or an apple. It cuts that hunger, so you think, okay, well, I'm not tempted to go to the deli, and I'm not tempted to go to the candy machine to get candy that in an hour and a half I'm going to be hungry again. And if you want a candy bar or whatever you would like, have it in your lunch container and bring it with you. Have multiple drinks. If you just drink water, do that. These are just some items and some suggestions to fight inflation for lunch ideas. Inflation is here. I don't see it going down very soon. Inflation may increase to where we're paying more and more for the items that we purchase. And we're talking about lunch. I know that some of my colleagues said in the past that their price of lunch had doubled and some had tripled because they were eating out every day. But they figured out how much money they were spending each week eating out, just lunch. One lady came and said that she had been spending $15 for lunch every day. She didn't really realize it. I mean, she knew what the price was, but the price kept going up and up. And she said 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, that lunch was $5.95, and now it was $14.95. Well, inflation has hit. So, take the money that you have, stretch it as far as you can to try to fight the inflation, especially with lunches. I appreciate you stopping by to watch my video. In the comments below, share with the community members how you stretch your budget and work with inflation on lunch ideas. Everybody eats lunch usually, so this is just one meal that we can cut back that money that we spend so we can stretch it a little bit further to continue to have food in our pantries. I appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you in the next video.